Hello and welcome to The Void. Tonight, instead of working on a video I actually wanna make, we're debunking a conservative libertarian.
Oh god damn it, we're not getting political, are we?
Nah, most of this is just straw-manning liberals and it's full of bad takes. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to freedomtoons, a political animation channel spearheaded by Seamus Coughlin. There's nothing you really need to know about him, other than his sense of humor being stuck in 2015 conservative YouTube. Like if he made an attack helicopter joke, I wouldn't be surprised. Some more basic knowledge you should know is that Seamus really hates abortion, which is understandable, I guess. It's a controversial issue, but he also seems to hate birth control. Or at least I think he does. Apparently it's a Catholic thing. Before we start, I just wanna say that I don't hate Seamus. I don't think he's malicious or purposely trying to spread misinformation.
I do.
Anyways, let's dive into freedomtoons. I tried to stick to relatively recent videos since people's opinions change all the time. Number 1, election goes to Supreme Court. So this video is based off the election results, in which Biden won. However, this video seems to think that since a lot of recent Republican judges experienced outrage, that they're finally gonna get revenge on the libtards.
Somehow I feel like Seamus was bitter about Trump losing.
Well, let's play the video.
Oh, golly. I can't believe the Supreme Court is going to look into the legitimacy of our victories.
Don't worry, idiot. The Supreme Court knows that the Democratic Party is nothing but trustworthy. This woman has adopted black children. She's clearly racist. This man drinks beer. He's clearly a rapist.
I'm gonna wrap this chain around your head, you fat pervert. Gonna get my razor rusty. Put it in a barrel. Get it rusty.
I wouldn't worry about it. They know exactly.
Okay, first off, do you guys like obvious strawman characters that aren't from Seamus's series specifically about strawmen? You don't? Well, too bad, here you go. I recommend you get very familiar with Seamus's most deep and interesting character. Screaming libtards with abnormal hair. And second, Seamus is greatly simplifying the Brett Kavanaugh case.
He doesn't specifically say this is Brett Kavanaugh, Amy Coney Barrett, or this guy. We figured this out based on context and commenters that know who this is.
The Brett Kavanaugh case, if you don't remember, was an investigation on the accusations of Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh being accused of rape by Christine Blasey Ford, Deborah Ramirez, Julie Swetnick, and Judy Monroe-Layton. This case is officially inconclusive, and there's no definitive way of knowing whether or not he did it.
That motherfucker did it.
Anyways, why did I bring up a case from a few years ago? Because Seamus just ignores it and dismisses it as,
This man drinks beer. He's clearly a rapist.
he's basically saying that the liberal media thinks Brett Kavanaugh is a rapist because he drank beer. This is what's called hasty generalization. He's simplifying the argument down to, those damn libtards think Brett Kavanaugh is a rapist. Anyways, this is repeated with the other two Supreme Court members, not much to say. How about you, eshe?
Despite being as corrupt as Democrats, the Republicans are buttered because they took an L.
2. Democrats versus nuns. This here is a spiritual successor to Seamus's magnum opus, MUH Birth Control.
Kidnap Republicans after my birth control. Who go ahead and censor me if I ain't got no birth control? Stay away! Don't stay away from my birth control!
Get ready for more of Seamus screaming.
Hey, you! Huh? Stop forcing your beliefs onto me! Stop forcing your beliefs onto me! Stop forcing your beliefs on us! She's taking my birth control! She's taking my birth control! She's taking my birth control! Putting my ovaries low! She's taking my birth control from her ovaries! She's using her powers! She takes my birth control from my ovaries! Oh, she turned me into a handmaid's tale! I'm pregnant! She made me pregnant with her powers!
Leave me alone.
Stop with the powers! Take from my birth control! My birth control!
No!
Ma'am, are you using your illegal men powers to take birth control from their ovaries?
I was waiting for the bus to the soup kitchen and they attacked me.
This nun won't pay for the Plan B! I'm not going to force a nun to buy abortion pills for you. No.
So Seamus is strawmanning the left again, just automatically assuming that they're all pissed off that nuns aren't paying for birth control, since they have vows of chastity. The left can be pretty fucking stupid sometimes, but even when I was big on conservative YouTube, I never even heard about this story, and it's not because it was too obscure. Trust me, these people would talk about anything the second it showed the slightest leaning towards liberalism. To be sure, I checked Twitter and all the top tweets on this thing were all news websites just neutrally reporting on the issue. There was like one tweet talking about religious freedoms being used to discriminate, but other than that, all this liberal outrage is from nobody's commenting under news article tweets. Also, yes, I agree with Seamus here. It is dumb to force a charity group of nuns to pay for birth control, especially since you have to be a nun and therefore take a vow of chastity to join, so logically they shouldn't have to pay for birth control since nuns aren't allowed to fuck unless they leave. However, he represented this court case poorly and just used it as an excuse to shit on those goddamn motherfucking libtards. Grr. Any thoughts, Eshe?
What?
Number 3, fighting Nazis then versus now. Say, did I mention that Seamus strawmans liberals as crazy people?
We get it, roll the clip.
Freedom. Tunes.
Okay, folks, so as you know, Nazism is on the rise and we need to stop them, which is why I've invented a time machine to bring back the people who defeated Nazism in the first place.
Perfect!
Yes!
Hey, this ain't Normandy.
What gives? What year is it?
It's 2018!
Why did you say that so weird?
Sorry, force of habit. We brought you to the future because Nazism is on the rise in the US, and our president is sympathetic to them!
What?
Here's a pamphlet with all his positions.
This fella's disgusting.
Right?
This boyfriend thinks 2 men can get married. What?
And that a man who cuts his dongle off is a woman?
Sounds more like a commie to me, but hey, same difference. I'll kill either one.
That's not what's bad about him.
It gets worse. What else are these Nazis doing?
They believe there are only 2 genders.
Well, of course there's more than 2 genders. Thank goodness. Yeah, the Russians have their gender, the Germans have their gender, the Japanese have their gender. Everybody's got a gender.
No, not agenda. Gender.
What the hell is gender?
Sounds like some kind of phony word popularized in the 50s to create a false distinction between one identity and their biological sex. Am I in a ballpark here? Your sex is whether you're male or female, but your gender is how you identify. So if you were born a man but want to become a woman, your gender identity is as a woman and you therefore are a woman. Know it?
So you guys think men can be women?
Well, that's the biggest crock of nonsense I ever heard.
Yeah, none of this sounds like Nazism to me.
Well, how about this? He wants people to pay for their own birth control.
Oh no! Yeah, birth control is legal?
The guys who defeated Nazism are such Nazis.
You know, I don't like you pinkos going around telling people you're fighting Nazis just because you berate everyone you disagree with. You've never fought a Nazi in your life, and to claim otherwise is stolen valor.
Yeah, and you know what? When actual Nazis come around, no one's gonna want to fight them anymore, because you guys keep crying wolf.
Now let's go back and win ourselves a war!
You know, I almost don't want to anymore. Wait! Don't go! We need you!
We need to say you're on our side so we can convince the greater whole of society to accept violence against dissidents who stand in the way of the social order we seek to establish.
And how exactly are they the Nazis?
Because I call them Nazis.
Well, you call men women, so...
Okay, what? Ash, can you get any sort of message out of this?
Soviets had a larger impact on defeating fascism, but that would suit his narrative that Americans are the true heroes of World War II, even though we ignored the conflict until Japan crashed a bunch of planes at us.
What? I mean, yeah, he does use American soldiers here to try and make some sort of point, despite us only really fighting against the Japanese at that time. But that's beside the point. The point is that this is super muddled and confusing. It just seems like it's meant to make a really basic point in an absurd way. However, I can't tell who we're supposed to agree with here, since these World War II soldiers say some really politically incorrect stuff like being shocked that gays are allowed to marry or that transgenders exist.
Obviously they're supposed to be agreed with by 15-year-old edgy conservites who think saying conservatism is the new counterculture is some deep message.
Look, I'm not saying Seamus is bigoted. The last thing I want to do is say that this man is against LGBT rights. I repeat, I'm not saying he's a bigot. But the line at the end is very suspicious, even if these are fictional characters from a different time period. But the phrasing and context here just gives me some major red flags. Again, I'm not saying that Seamus is a bigot. This is an old video and people change over time.
Plexi, just what do you gain from simping for fucking freedomtoons of all people?
It's not simping. Look, basically this video is just super muddled. Number 4, the debunkers versus John Oliver.
Oh look, the dumbass liberal artist likes John Oliver.
Look, I used to like John Oliver and I still consider him a good news source, since who the fuck else is gonna talk about Uyghurs? However, I do not find him funny at all. Especially this bullshit. I see you copying me, John. Cut that shit out.
Hey Plexi, this whole show was a poor attempt at ripping off last week tonight.
Anyways, so why did I want to cover a debunkers video? Obviously not to debunk the rich cartoon people, although I find it weird that Seamus chose to represent his enlightened, well-researched characters as rich white guys who tend to benefit the most from conservatism. I guess it's better than a blue anthro wolf furry with rippling pecs crossing his arms and complaining about feminism. Anyways, we actually are gonna debunk this. What's the point of talking about the debunkers, if I'm not gonna talk about how full of shit they are?
Freedom Tunes.
Pornography. Some people believe it should be available and accessible without stigma. Others think, well, it's not for me, but it's fine for other people in certain situations. And a few people think it should be banned completely. Oh, did I say pornography? Sorry, I meant abortion.
First off, I'm skipping all the John Oliver jokes because he's painfully unfunny and freedomtoons leaves them in for some reason. Also, I'm not gonna bother with everything the debunkers say, since most of it is just little quick jabs at the video and John Oliver himself.
Our main story tonight is abortion. And yes, we have talked about it before. Last time we looked at the way abortion laws in America have in many places made access to abortion difficult. That has clinics all over the country have shut down. But tonight, we're going to focus on the exact opposite of an abortion clinic, something called a crisis pregnancy center.
The opposite of an abortion clinic? Can you think of anything worse?
Facilities whose primary purpose is to talk women out of termination of pregnancy.
Oh, how horrible.
Something they don't often make that clear.
Oh, they don't always make that clear? How deceptive.
Yes, nothing like Planned Parenthood, which makes it perfectly clear that nearly 25% of their clinic revenue comes from performing abortions, and that they have literal quotas they need to fill by pushing more women towards abortion, whether or not they truly believe it's the right option for them.
Snopes.com says that abortion clinics having quotas is unproven, however you can always just do a quick Google search and oh look, it's all unproven. And the top result is a religious website.
Running friendly-looking ads like this.
Before you make the decision about a pregnancy that comes at a less than perfect time, get Jelly on the Belly from the Sunrise Women's Clinic, a clinic provider who specialize in early pregnancy options.
Okay. Jelly on the belly is a pretty childish way to describe an important medical procedure.
Yes, and Planned Parenthood is a pretty silly way of describing a facility for people who are neither interested in planning nor being parents.
I'm not sure that I would trust a doctor that referred to colonoscopies as looking for cooties in the booties. But the second, one of the early pregnancy options that you won't get at Sunrise Women's Clinic is an abortion.
Can you imagine the horror of persuading women to choose other options besides abortion?
But that can be hard to tell from their vague name and marketing. That actually happens a lot with CDCs. Take the Centre for Pregnancy Choices in Mississippi. It sounds like a welcoming place. The website even has links labelled Thinking Abortion and Thinking Parenting, and it was founded by a woman named Barbara Beavers, whose very name sounds like that of a sassy mother in a TV show about a family of beavers. It would be called Hot Damn, and it would be absolutely delightful. But once you're inside her CDC, you will find that it is vehemently against any choice that is not carrying a pregnancy to term.
Vehemently against any choice that is not carrying a pregnancy to term. I just love how he worded that. As if there are multiple ways of not carrying a pregnancy to term. Abortion. Literally, the one other option besides carrying a pregnancy to term is abortion. That's it. It's one option. But for whatever reason, it's the only option you seem to be obsessed with ensuring women take.
In fact, just listen to Barbara explain where she stands on abortion.
You're deceiving yourself if you say you can kill your baby and it'd be good for you. That's just deception. That's not true. It doesn't register with reality. Mamas, women are not made that way. Women are made to protect and guard and to die for their babies.
Oh Lukey, you're a crazy woman.
Not their babies to die for them.
Wait, why is there static?
Okay. I gotta break character here for a second. Wow. Literally none of what she said here should even be controversial. I mean, this is such a sweet woman. And all she wants to do is save the lives of unborn children. And also notice her genuine concern for the women experiencing unplanned pregnancy. She starts off by referencing her concern for the well-being of these women, saying abortion won't make them happy. She's watching out for women and children. That is the most noble thing a person can dedicate their life to. And there's nothing in it for her besides that. And this is the worst thing they could find her saying. And it was actually kind of beautiful.
Are you fucking kidding me, Seamus? You waste people's time for 3 minutes with a dodgy claim, random jabs at the video and John Oliver, and then you say fuck it and break character. How is this breaking character? The debunkers are just you doing stupid rich guy voices. You could have easily had them say, oh, how is this the worst thing you could find her saying? It's not that bad, but no, you just had to pause the whole thing to manipulate your fucking audience, who would have agreed with you to begin with, Seamus. Obviously a libtard like me isn't gonna agree with the crazy bitch on screen, but your audience of conservative high schoolers and boomers already went into the video agreeing with you. And how the fuck is saying that mothers should die for their children beautiful? I'm not fucking saying that children should die. Obviously there's rarely a happy ending in an abortion since it's a serious matter, but I think a child losing their mother is fucking worse, especially if it's a single mother, because if she dies or worse, is forced to give birth to a rape baby because of legislation, that kid is gonna have a horrible fucking life, either being in the streets and dying at 6 years old, or fucking growing up unloved and secretly associated with a rapist by their own mother. Which do you think is worse, Seamus? Huh? You want a fucking mother to die, Seamus? I'm gonna fucking kick your ass, you talentless motherfucker.
Oh, Plexi, maybe you should calm down.
You want me to calm down, you goddamn fucking whore? I'll teach you to talk to me like that. I'll fucking kill you.
Alice, cut the camera or something.
Fucking next, Alice.
Plexi, cut it out. You can't threaten someone like that.
Fuck you, I'll say whatever the fuck I want on my fucking show, you stupid bitch.
Sorry about that. I'll be taking over for now since I'm not insane.
Let me be perfectly clear here, Barbara. The only females made to die for their babies are Pacific salmon. They lay thousands of eggs and then die after spawning. You're welcome. Tune in next week for more of Johnny O's fish facts, wildlife wonders, and abortion. And centres like that one are proliferating. There are now 2,700 pregnancy centres in America compared to less than 1,700 abortion providers.
You say this like it's a bad thing. Aren't you about women's choice? There are 2,750 crisis pregnancy centers giving women options and information they might not get from the institutions which literally profit off of abortion, and you think that's a bad thing?
You know why if you watched more than 7 minutes, Seamus. He talks about how CPCs disguise themselves as abortion clinics and then shame pregnant women on their decisions. Why did you only cover the first 7 minutes? Maybe it's because John Oliver doesn't fucking say shit in the first 7 minutes, and therefore you get to avoid all the actual talking points and make fun of him, probably because your only talking point is, abortion bad.
And the discrepancy is even worse in certain states. Mississippi, for example, has 1 abortion clinic and 38 crisis pregnancy centers.
According to the Guttmacher Institute, there were 2,290 abortions performed in Mississippi in 2014. How many would you have rather there been, John?
So if they are that prevalent, people should absolutely know what they are. And look, if you believe abortion is immoral, you are, of course, allowed to set up a centre dedicated to convincing women of that. But what is happening with CPCs is that way too often, women with unplanned pregnancies are being actively misled while trying to access healthcare.
If you believe abortion is acceptable, then you're free to set up a facility telling women that it is. But what more than often happens is people are convinced that Planned Parenthood is exclusively concerned with women's health and not making money off of aborting their children and then selling their organs.
What the fuck? Are you saying that Planned Parenthood harvests the organs of aborted fetuses? Are you fucking high or something, Seamus? There's a literal.gov website dedicated to debunking this claim, and newsflash, the funny cartoon people are wrong. What actually happens is that Planned Parenthood legally sells fetal tissue to researchers. Thanks for not linking any sources in the description, Seamus. I'll link this shit in the description because if I'm blatantly wrong, I'm gonna make it easy for people to learn on their own.
And CPCs seem happy to have women confused with abortion clinics. Just look at Abby Johnson, an anti-abortion activist, addressing a conference for one of the largest CPC organizations.
Love how you didn't mention that Abby Johnson used to work for Planned Parenthood. That's not an important detail. The fact that she's an insider? No, doesn't matter.
You want to appear neutral on the outside. The best call, the best client you ever get is one that thinks they're walking into an abortion clinic. Okay? Those are the best clients that can ever walk into your door or call your center. The ones that think you provide abortion.
Wow. What's so damning about that? Obviously, someone who wants to prevent abortion will be interested in talking to women seeking abortions. Change happens on the level of the individual. I don't see what's controversial about this.
Normally, the strategy pretend you're an abortion clinic is not actually a great marketing stunt.
Yes, which is exactly why Planned Parenthood tries to spend so much time pretending it isn't an abortion clinic.
Although, I'm pretty sure that Radio Shack would have tried that if they thought of it. Oh, sorry, we don't actually perform abortions here, but while I've got you, can I interest you in a gently used USB port or a Microsoft Zoom? They come in brown. And the efforts to conceal their true intent take many forms, starting with the name. Many CPCs fetuses have the word choice in their name.
You do realize the word choice isn't a synonym for abortion, right?
Yes, and the fact that you think it is reveals to me quite a bit about your agenda.
When they say choice, that's blatantly false advertising. When they say choice, they really mean, we'll force you to have that fucking baby. Oh, his agenda. What about yours? You obviously hate abortion and half-assed this whole video. I don't give a shit if you hate abortion or not, but at least try and debunk the fucking video. They're called the debunkers, so don't waste my fucking time making stupid quips. I fucking love how you just cut that off 7 minutes into the whole video, Seamus. I guess you couldn't just backtalk to John Oliver for 23 minutes without boring the fuck out of your audience. Conclusion. Well, that last segment got a little heated, so here's the gist of this video. 1. freedomtoons is bad, and the only people who like it are just watching to reaffirm their bias. 2. Seamus thinks screaming and making stupid voices is funny. 3. Seamus didn't credit his sources in any of the videos I talked about here, so yeah, he's probably not credible. As far as I can tell, he's just regurgitating whatever Daddy Ben Shapiro or Jordan Peterson is saying. 4. I personally have no problems with his animation or art style, it's charming in some ways, but other people may have more serious critiques on the animation. 5. Although I'm obviously not a fan of the politics in these videos, Seamus's bad takes are separate from the quality of the videos, if I'm being honest here. Who knows, maybe you think everything we've said is completely invalid and wrong because we're libtards. 6. Be prepared for a ton of strawmanning, and not just from the actual freedomtoons segment with literal strawmen. Obviously there's no point in debunking those. However, I find it odd that Seamus knows what a strawman is and yet chooses to represent people who disagree with conservatism as fat crazy people with colored hair. You know, a common strawman for leftists. Well, that's all I have to say. If by chance Seamus actually finds this video, I hope he can take criticism. If he gets pissed and roasts this channel to death in a video or on Twitter, I refuse to make a follow-up video. Bye.